I don't see us live.
Hi, guys. Today we have a special episode. We're so excited. We're here to discuss Think and Grow Rich. And you might be wondering, what does that have to do with anything? And why are they choosing to do this? Well, the simple fact is that Think and Grow Rich has been a huge part of our career, and sharing it with you today is a real privilege. We're going to be discussing our successful investor clients and their attributes, the success we continue to experience at Rivet, and other entrepreneurs who we have come to know throughout the years. Now, who's this show for? This show is for our entire network, friends, family, clients, and even our colleagues, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. Now, although we prepare for this show, it's non-scripted, and at the end of the day, we're all just looking to have some fun. With that, let's get the show started.
Raji,
Yo.
you can't say it's non-scripted and then you prepare a script.
Oh my gosh, I knew you were gonna go there.
I'm throwing the script off.
You know what's funny? Roger's like, we're gonna start the show with a lot of energy because that makes the viewers stop and watch.
Man, no, it's not just that. I'm so excited about this, and y'all like give me these weird vibes that I can't be as excited as I want to be. So,
Wait, can I tell you something real quick? Okay,
please.
this is Roger in regular life, right? You meet him, he's like chill, relax, whatever, right? Me and Ro in real life too, but like we're like talking to a client, right? Like we're professional, we're still like getting to know them, right? But then we come here, and then this is where me and Ro get to be like, crazy, our normal self, and then you're like buttoned up, like, yes, and
How am I in real life?
well, just like chill.
Chill.
You're just like
No,
chill.
I gotta tell you, I'm like,
I don't think he's chill.
there's like fireworks.
Okay, maybe not
inside
chill.
of me.
He's just cool.
Not cool either. Sorry.
Oh no, you know what? This morning, everything was so dramatic with Rosie. We go for coffee each morning, and it's the funniest thing because we're sitting there, we're talking about how the day's going to go and what we're going to be doing, and we're having this beautiful conversation. And she goes, "I don't think so," and she gets like really riled up, and I'm like, "See, look, you can say the same thing to me, and it doesn't." Anyways, that's the dynamic.
Hold up. But what are you? We're not moving on from this real quick. Listen, Bree, this is really what happens. Every day we go for a coffee, and I don't want to drink coffee in the morning, but we drink coffee because that's the only time we get along, and we have a common interest. And we sit down and we talk about business. Okay, what are we going to do in a day? Okay, what are the things that are not moving forward? Why they're not moving forward? And all of a sudden, it becomes a mudslinging match. Okay, and then we forget there are people around us, so we're a little louder.
You had to apologize to some guy today.
On our way out, when somebody acknowledges our presence randomly, we know that they have been listening in. And it has been way too late. And then I have to just unapologetically apologize for all the behavior we displayed. And then the
So
only thing I tell him is this. I say, you don't get to just dump all your information on me. Like, what am I? Like, you just learn all this and you just dump it on me and say,
yeah.
let me tell you something, everything I learned.
And I'll be honest. I love information. That's what I love.
That's
And
true.
I can vomit information over somebody. And so I have learned the hard way that I got to keep some of that to myself. And no matter how much I want to share it, because it bubbles out of me. And I mean, I really enjoy sharing. But anyways, Rosie, look who's here in the comments.
Who's here?
Michael.
Michael Schwartz is in the house. He knows us better than you and I know each other.
So you know what? Seeing Michael today on the show, what really it makes me think about is, man, who is here to hear about Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah.
And it seems like it's the people that are very relationship oriented and movers and shakers in the industry. And I am so delighted to share this information today because I know people that read Think and Grow Rich. They read it. Some of us read it annually, and most of us can't wait to get more of it whenever we can, right? Like those doses and those reminders. So today we're going to be sharing some information with you guys that we feel like is life changing.
I just want to quickly iterate something. You
Please.
know, Bree, tell me if you remember this. 10 years ago, we were introduced to this book, Think and Grow Rich, and we started reading it, and it was kind of difficult to digest at that time. But doesn't matter how difficult it was, we had printed out 28 questions that every
Oh,
week, every day,
every
we
day.
asked, yeah, as a team,
Different
we picked two questions we were going to focus on that day. And subliminally, it had a difference on how we showed up in our day. And a lot of people think that, we are just people who do real estate. A lot of our world actually is becoming better human beings. And real estate is what we get to do after that. And today, I think Roger is going to take everyone behind the scenes of who we are when we are not doing real estate. What are we studying? What are we priming ourselves with? So I can't wait. Brie, do you have any memories to share from that time? Like, what was it like in the beginning years to hear that?
Yeah.
Hi, Susan.
Susan! Hi, boo!
You
Susan's on. That's my
Where are
boo.
you getting guys to see all these guys from?
Comments,
comment.
bro.
Oh, shit. Oh, hi, Susan.
You're so funny. I remember back in the day, we read Think and Grow Rich, and I remember those 28 questions. I don't remember what they were back in the day,
Yeah.
but I do remember every day picking two different ones, and it really does change our perception and it gives us something to focus on that maybe we normally wouldn't focus on.
Yeah, yeah,
It has to, thank you for sharing that, Bree, because it had to have been the most consistent action that we performed for years on end. And I think that we can all honestly say that we enjoyed it, you know. And the reason why we stopped doing it, we did it for over 2 years, didn't we?
no,
It
we
had
do it like very long period of time. I think we adopted new things, new
new things,
methods. We
learning.
we, we evolve. Sometimes I will. Okay, I'm gonna come clean to you in some
And
ways.
you want to change things up too sometimes.
Yeah,
You want
sometimes we
to,
need a little novelty because we become numb to the same idea sometimes,
yeah.
So what I'm really trying to imply is that the long-lasting impact it had on us. What you learn, it's how once you have stretched the band to a certain bandwidth, like it doesn't go back to the same size again. You've expanded. So I'm excited what you have to share today.
So, Rosie, you brought up something really beautiful. You brought up the 28 questions. And for that reason, I want to share my screen and let's just show everybody what you meant by the 28 questions. Let's start there. And I know we have a lot prepared, but I think that's a great place to start. Okay. So this was Google. I just quickly Googled 28 questions. And it's Napoleon Hill's 28 self-analysis questions, and we'll just like kind of look at the brief
Yeah.
of them. So it says, "Have I attained my goal, which I established?" Right, and you start your day off, and you say, "Well, did I hit my goal?" Or you're ending your day, and this is a great time to reflect and take a look at um, what about the goal? Like you're going to really have this chance to do some assessing. And what I really love about what happened this morning when I looked at this question was that I realized a lot of my goals are temporary. They're not something to give me like juice for the long haul. So it's really important. The question, I think, I don't want to jump too far ahead, Rosie, but a burning desire or a chief aim in life is in the Think and Grow Rich, and it allows us to collaborate like uh, what it is. It allows us to refine what our goal is, you know, and look at things long term rather than at the tip of our nose. And if please stop me anytime you want to share, okay?
Yeah, so Bree, do you have memory of any of this? I know this is like straight up coming to you. I can see from your eyes. By the way, guys, I think somebody is reaching out to me and asking where is the live link. Can you Slack me the link and I'll give it to them?
Okay, so yeah, I can
Go on
definitely.
Facebook.
Okay, we are on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook and it's going to stay there, and it's also going to live on YouTube as well. So you can just come back to Rivet Real Estate, and both of those links will be there on our YouTube channel and on our.
Yeah, it's one of our attendees who are wanting to join, and they said they wanted to check in and hear it out. So, Bree, going back to you, which one do you remember? Which one resonated with you? I know we all incline towards one or two all the time.
Well, I know that at the beginning, 2 and 3 were
Yeah,
really big, I feel like. And then as time went on, I do remember number 4 because
yeah,
there were times when things were difficult and you have either difficult agents that you're dealing with, difficult clients that you're dealing with, difficult transaction that is just in general, it is what it is. And I like number 4 has the spirit of my conduct been harmonious and cooperative at all times
Hmm.
because sometimes we can get, you know, ego comes into play, right? Well, oh, I said this, da, da, da. But instead of coming at it from like having the ego, come at it from, okay, am I being cooperative with this person? Am I giving them all of the tools and all of the information that they need, right? Whether that's a client or an agent, am I cooperating with them so that we can have a great transaction?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
okay, first of all, thank you for sharing that. I'm multitasking. I apologize. I'm trying to get the
yeah,
link to one of our attendees. But going back to Roger, if you can text me the link of where they are, they're not able to find the link. That would be
okay,
great.
yeah, I can do that if you
Okay,
guys
I
continue.
will go about the questions in the meantime.
Okay.
So my biggest one was, have I improved my personality, and if so, in what ways, right? And have I been persistent in following my plans to completion? Because when you're in a leadership role, your attention is not required in one direction. You're required in every place in different roles, and not as one person. You have to show up as a person, whatever is needed in the moment. So for me to develop a personality that is flexible, that is harmonious, that is adaptable was a big need of the time, and it still is today. So I remember asking myself, have I improved my personality? And yes, in what ways?
Mhm.
And also, have I been either overcautious or undercautious?
Yeah,
Because
that
to
was a good one.
grow, it requires risk. It requires risk to make the phone call that you might cautiously be avoiding, to make a business decision and investment that you're putting off because you're not sure what the returns are going to be. So these were my two, and thank you for bringing it up. And
Yeah,
amazing,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think Rosie, what really I take away from all this is that when we have a definite chief aim in life, what it does is it magnetizes us. And when we wake up in the morning, like for instance, I know when I got into real estate, I was doing gratitude in the morning, writing in my journal, and I was following Think and Grow Rich principles, and it put me on a different trajectory in the day. Right. So I really wanted to share this today with people that are maybe not in the same kind of career that we're in and are looking to make big moves and really do a lot, get a lot done in their day. And I'll be honest with you, I think deep going to college at 12 had a lot to do with Think and Grow Rich and the mechanics of how to live an ideal day, right? So
Yeah.
one of the things that Think and Grow Rich talks about is that everything is preceded in thought, right? So if you look around your subdivision where you live, all the homes around you, if you can just imagine at one time that was just a thought somebody was having. It would then it became plans on a blueprint, and finally they started building and got the shovels out and started building the neighborhoods. So thinking is where everything is preceded, and if we can focus on that, we can't control our circumstances, as Think and Grow Rich says, but we can control our thoughts. And so, I mean, do you guys have anything to add on that? I thought that was beautiful.
I want that document that you have a reference to so I can refresh my memory too.
Oh, really? You know what? I just pulled the document up, and would you like for me to just share it here on the screen right now with everyone?
Yeah, matter of fact, it would be great if you send us in Slack, and we'll make sure, whatever we studied, we have summarized it. And and I think we take that core behavior into our business world every single day. So we will be happy to share that with all of you all. So you make reference to it in your way, how you show up in your world, and you have something to look back and grab. So if you send it to us in Slack, we would love
I have
to.
sent it. I have sent it to you now in Slack, um,
Okay, great.
and let me know what really jumps off the page for you.
Okay, Bree, let's take eyeball while Roger's looking at it, and we can share our insights on what we
And
remember.
while they're looking at the screen, the ones that really jump off for me is the idea of self-discipline. So it's better to have self-discipline than or being disciplined by someone else, right? So, I mean, we can do all the things we need to and have a successful career, do the stuff that really matters, move the ball forward every day, and and live in that discipline and our self-discipline rather than being disciplined by someone else.
I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. There's one thing of self-discipline, and I think ultimately no one wants to be disciplined by someone
Yeah.
else, right?
Right.
Like
A horrible thought.
the goal is no one ever. I mean, when you think discipline as a kid, right? It's like you're getting in trouble.
Yeah.
But I will say there is something to be said whenever people give you like open and honest and helpful feedback so
Mhm.
that you can be better. You do have to kind of remove like at first it probably hurts a little bit, right? Because you're like, oh man, like your intention is never to do something wrong or do something a bad way, or not even a bad way, but right, like the not the most appropriate way, right?
Yeah.
But having if you can find someone who can give you feedback in a way that even if it's harsh feedback, but you know that their intention is pure and true, I
Yeah.
think that that's very important. And that can help self discipline, right? Because if you're able to get that feedback from someone out
Absolutely.
disciplining, right, then I think that you're kind of more propelled to do the self discipline on your own.
Rosie, do you have something to share about that, or can I jump in right here?
You jump in.
So Rosie was saying something this morning about receiving
Mhm.
criticism without feeling resentment towards that criticism, right? Being open to criticism. And apparently, I was not open for criticism this morning at coffee, but I would argue otherwise. But but I think that's kind of what you're touching on too. Would you say?
Yeah, if we're not open to it, right? Because in our minds, everyone is always doing the best they can and the best that they and the best, right? Like in your mind, you're like, yeah, I'm doing it, right? But if we are open to that feedback, then I think that we can only continue to grow and do better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to bring a different side to this conversation about self discipline and giving feedback and receiving feedback without resentment. I think one of my mentors told me recently, who's Chase Hughes, he said, where you speak from is where you speak to. You know, a lot of people tend not to give feedback because on the giving side, right, there is a discernment discernment decision you have to make. Do I have permission in this relationship to say this to this person? Am I going to rub them the wrong way? A lot of times people avoid giving an honest feedback because they don't have the courage to face the consequence that can potentially come out of it. Now, what is the consequence we're really trying to face? The consequence we're really trying to face is that I want to be on the good side of this person all the time,
Hmm.
right? I don't want to make enemies with someone, right? But if me caring for someone is going to make me their enemy until they get to really see one day how I meant well for them, this is the discernment the person giving feedback has to have,
Yeah.
right? Do I want to be on their good side all the time, or I want to be on them becoming good, better, greater side? I'll much rather meet you on your good, better, greater side than be on your good side all the time. Because if my people, and it's a sense of responsibility. It's a sense of responsibility we carry for the people in our world, where either we have a choice to play safe and not ruffle any feathers, or live in courage and really speak up your mind and have the courage to bear any consequence that might come out of it. Worst case scenario, they can get offended, right? I was telling someone that, okay, if somebody holds back on the feedback that they have for me and I respect them in a relationship, and they're afraid that I'm going to get offended, I'm going to be offended at the fact that they held back. Because it's almost like you're walking around with your pants ripped off and your best friend didn't tell you
Yeah.
that your pants were ripped, right? And you made a big fool out of yourself. I want to know quickly, okay, what it is. And maybe I will have an opportunity to go back and forth and discuss that. But I feel like Think and Grow Rich really,
Yeah.
really helps you explore that thought. And out of all the questions that I have that are written here, Roger, you have something to say? I saw your
Well, yeah,
change.
I do. Just briefly is what I feel like we're really touching on is the idea of the mastermind principle, and I was actually jogging my memory and going back to a time where I was just spending a lot of time with friends, and we would drink, and the
Yeah,
conversation would always be really simple, right? And that's never been the kind of person I am. I need something that stokes me. I need
yeah.
some information or growth or something happening, right? And it's because of my social inheritance, like the programming that I received. I mean, I had a hardworking dad, so I just think that I got to work hard all the time. And part of that is what drives my internal, like the garbage I received, I guess, from it is that there's no way to make money except working hard, and there's no way to get rich but to save. And then on the flip side of it, I have gotten this beautiful gift of wanting to grow and having beautiful conversations that caused me to do so. But we're talking about the mastermind principle, and I feel like so many of us go through life with friends that we just fell into relationship with, but we're not leveling the conversation up with anybody. And days and weeks and months can go by without somebody really stoking that growth within us. And I remember having to, pay for that sort of conversation, and we did it in form of coaching. And so, having a coach, a business coach, or somebody to come into our lives and say, well, why don't you show me the numbers, show me what you're working on, let's talk through that real quick. And that was the correction that we were always open to and experiencing. And I mean,
No,
that's
this is a very powerful thing. I think unconsciously it plays a big role into our world, and nobody's immune to it. I don't care who say how resilient their mindset is. I know Roger used to. Do I get to
please.
rub
I
some
think it's fun. I think
was
it's
there?
fun.
Okay,
And
awesome. So I remember Roger used to say, "Hey, you know what? I can read all the information, and I only pick and choose what I like. Nothing else has bearing on me," which is incorrect. It's incorrect because our unconscious mind is absorbing every piece of information around us at all times.
yeah,
So we think that we're filtering is a naive thought. And you brought up a really powerful conversation just now, Roger, about social inheritance, the
yeah,
baggage we carry from our previous environment or previous upbringing. And I think it's okay to take a moment and just be vulnerable and say, what is the baggage we all carried, right? Like yours was that you came into this relationship thinking, or even in this business thinking, hard work and save, and that's the only way you can outwork anybody, right?
and
And we have it has costed us a lot of time at times,
yeah.
just going that way, right?
Mhm.
Bree, what would you say it is for you if you have to dig in deeper? I don't mind sharing mine if you have some time, if you need some time to think about it. We discussed it.
Okay. Yeah. Give me some time. What's the
Okay.
question?
Rosie,
So the question is,
Before you share yours, can I just can I just read this paragraph? That'll
yeah,
give our viewers
it
more.
will give us some warm up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So social inheritance consists of every influence that we come in contact with. This consists of interactions with the world, family, friends, politics, music, television, and even shows we choose to watch. Very few people have the power to break away from this. The longer we're exposed to this, the more we become victims to social heredity. It's guaranteed that our lives will look remarkably different if we eliminate the garbage that we put in our minds. Our lives would become totally unrecognizable. Question is, are we ready for our best life ever? And most of us are not. We're not ready to let go of the negative aspects of social heredity. It's just too painful and requires creating a new version of ourselves. So, what's your social inheritance? Are you inheriting toxicity or abundance? List, and we'll give you a really cool PDF where you get to list your golden social inheritance, and some of the garbage that we are inheriting constantly from the world around us.
Yeah, yeah. And just to kind of wrap up this thought, I remember in Think and Grow Rich, there is one of a very powerful person who said that most of the people in the world choose failure because it's easy to give up the motivation and desire to become successful.
Oh yes, that was a good quote.
It's much easier to fail than to maintain the desire for motivation and growth. So
Mhm.
that's the only reason people fail. That's the only reason. But it's a choice they make every single day. So going back to the social
Well, if
inheritance,
your definite chief aim in life is a really big one, then it is 100% natural to feel demotivated as
yeah,
person can grow rich.
if your why is big enough, it is going to be. And
And
but
that's
that's
why, are you familiar with the idea of auto-suggestion, Rosie?
yeah, yeah. You can refresh your
Auto-suggestion.
memory. Yeah,
Yeah, refreshing memory is so auto-suggestion is we write out an ideal outcome that we want to experience, and then we read it out to ourselves 2 times a day. Now, that what I'm really blown away about this book because what it's saying is, first that you're really living a life that's rich. I don't think it's just about money. And they do make reference to this. They say if you're kind of like a person who's just wanting to get rich and you have all this money and you just work 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 all the time, then you're going to have a pretty dry existence. You want to make sure that you're a whole and fully rounded human being. And so that means having relationship with our family members, right? Having relationships with our friends. And I don't know, that just really stuck out to me.
yeah. It stuck out to me, but not in the way it did for you.
Ah,
What does that mean?
Yeah, like honest suggestion to me doesn't mean that it doesn't translate the same way to me, to be honest, because we all are different human beings. Um, like we got to have to something comes from a place of obligation to me. We
ah,
don't have to do anything.
yeah, I
We
agree.
we generally don't. You don't have to wake up in the morning, take shower. You don't have to go buy real estate. You don't have to sell real estate. You don't have to work. I think nature provides pretty good.
Yeah.
You can knock on few doors and ask for food and just live, right? Like there are people who are doing it. So this have to attitude is something I had to get out of because I felt like this was the social inheritance garbage that I had carried on. I have to listen to the authority. I
No,
have
did
to,
I say did I say have to?
yeah.
Okay, well, I never used that phrase, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch the recording.
And prove that he did or did
And
not.
yeah, I really don't think I used
Why
have
do
to.
you think my ears just like grew up like antenna
No,
and
for
did
auto
that?
suggestion, I said the idea of auto suggestion is per the book that I probably say you got to or something of that. You don't have to. So what you do is you read out these statements. And I was thinking, who in the world would read out these statements to themselves besides somebody that wanted to eliminate all of the garbage and live a life of like exactly the one that they had chosen to,
Yeah.
like by design.
Yeah.
Auto suggestion when we repeat something so much that we start believing it in ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Who would
everything
do
we learn
that?
from repetition. Everything we learn from repetition. So, Brie, what would be your social inheritance that you feel like you carried on as growing up that you had to kind of let go of?
What is social inheritance?
Roger?
Okay, yeah, I can read it one more time. Let me see here. Social.
Just give me a basic premise.
Okay, so social inheritance is like
Thing you believe?
it's everything. Okay, so the accumulation of all our experiences in life. So the people that we're running into, our family members, our friends, things we watch on TV, and the stuff we read online, the news, all of it is
Or
social.
limiting beliefs.
Oh, what is my limiting belief?
Well, what's the garbage that you inherited?
Mhm.
Like I said, the garbage I inherited was that I
You
have
have
to save money and work hard, right? Which is not true. Like there's other means of actually enjoying yourself, being in work, and then there's the golden nuggets. Like how hard is it actually being in a relationship with people? It's not
to.
that hard. Loving on people is not that hard.
Yeah, it's not hard. Being mad and avoiding
But
is harder.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I had to get over that yesterday.
Really?
Mad at a Chipotle worker.
Oh.
Stupid.
That's so funny.
Oh gosh, oh gosh. So now let's talk about it. Like, how does it translate to real estate for us and for our people? Like, let's think about it. The people that I have seen consistently, I had the most incredible conversation today with someone, and she's somebody that I'm working with in South Austin area, and incredibly young woman, very entrepreneurial, and she's moving to your hometown, West Columbia area,
Oh,
and yeah, so like in this market, everybody, like, doesn't matter who it is, if they own a property, they feel like they're deserving of every penny's worth when they sell it, right? And I have an offer that we just brought on the table, and the agent showed the limitations of the buyers. And rather than making it something it is not, right? This is probably another way where we are getting to exercise our thinking of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, is that how specific I am in the desired outcome we are seeking out of a relationship. So when this person is bringing us an offer and stuff, rather than making a meaning out of ourselves, okay, what it means for us, and having this obsession around how I'm being perceived when I present this offer to someone, completely takes away from the reality of it. Like, we're not perceiving reality correctly at all when we bring ourselves into a transaction. So I was able to just sit down for a minute, remove myself from it, and not think of it as a representation of my work, but the true representation of where someone really is financially and what they're able to do. And to be able to interpret that as closely as possible, if we can, on the other side, guys, I cannot, by for the lack of our professional limitation, guidelines we have to follow. um, I am amazed at the generosity seller is displaying in this transaction that I haven't experienced in a decade.
Wow.
Most people get offended
Mhm.
if they don't get what they're asking for. But the way this, like, I have no bearing in it. Who am I to get in the way of somebody's good deed, goodwill, and their way of responding to a potential buyer? My job is to interpret the intention as closely as possible,
yeah.
right? To us, that is being in the, nobody's defeated until he or she has accepted it as their reality,
Yeah.
right? So I think, like, listen to anything from Think and Grow Rich. It translates immediately. If we cannot control our thoughts, we cannot control anything else. If I couldn't control my thoughts of impulse in that moment, I cannot control the outcome then. To be
Yeah.
able to have self control, to be able to exercise self discipline in a transaction. Guys, people think that you make money in real estate by going hardcore, hard rock at something. No, sometimes if you slow it down and build a relationship, you can move mountains with people. Like, some of our most beautiful conversations didn't come in. I remember today I had a conversation with an investor who often calls me for business and other discussions. That investor said to me today, he said, Rosie, I know you're busy, but when you make time, you take time to go deeper into the conversation. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's where what we're really here for. A lot of us think that we're here, oh my gosh, I'm falling behind. I remember our one of our mentors knocked us out of our reality one time. I was like, man, I should have done so much more by now. I could have, like, accomplished all these things by now. Like, maybe I'm messing up. He said, hold on, who gave you the idea of where you were supposed to be by now? He
Yeah.
said, you're exactly where your purpose is and wherever you're needed right now. This goal setting off that I have to be somewhere else is a setup for failure. If we can't satisfy, if we cannot find satisfaction, then this is all coming from our mentors straight up, because we operate like that. If we cannot find satisfaction of where we are right now, it means we lack appreciation for all the hard work we have done to get here.
Mhm.
How much bandwidth are we going to have to go further if we cannot appreciate for who we have become so far? That means you were wrong all the way.
Yeah, I had to learn how to pat myself on the back because that was part of the social heredity that I think I inherited. But Rosie, we do have some comments. If I could quickly just read,
Yes, yes, yes. Please,
share
I
the
don't see
social
comments.
inheritance.
Yeah.
Because one of my parents always approached things from the negative. I had to learn to overcome that to be more positive.
One of
Mm.
my parents always approached things from the negative. Michael, that's amazing that you shared that. And guess what? We found out our human brain is wired to default to negative all the time.
Yeah.
We're built that way because being negative kept us safe. And that's what we talked about on our last webinar. People think market is going to fall down. It's negative thinking because it keeps us safe, even
Mhm.
if we have no data to prove that. Right?
Mhm.
Why are you guys like so silent on me?
No,
We're
no,
saying,
no.
yeah,
I'm like, yes, that's powerful.
we're intrigued.
Yeah, this is what kept us. And just to kind of quickly refer to that, Michael, last week we were talking about if there was a big rock that looked like a bear from far away, if our ancestors didn't think it was a bear and it ended up being a bear, it killed them. So to even mistake a rock for a bear kept our ancestors safe. So why not be negative about it? That's our default behavior. So to have a positive thinking is being habit and thought conscious. People who are success conscious, they become successful. People who are poverty conscious, they experience hardships.
Oh,
So
consciousness and yeah,
and success consciousness,
abundance
right? To
consciousness.
be in a great mindset is a conscious act daily.
Yeah. So Napoleon Hill does talk about that in great length about this ether, and this ether has all this consciousness, and we tap into it. And this book was written like 1929, right? So way before these conversations were happening. And I just found it so fascinating that he understood the idea of like a greater
Yeah.
consciousness that we're tapping into. And I'm big on Eastern philosophies, and so that kind of just works really well with it. Um,
I want to stroke a conversation with Brittany real quick on this. Bria, you're going to be surprised from what I'm about to share next, and I need your feedback on how your experience with buyers look like or investors look like, right? One of the 6 steps of desires, achieving your, realizing your desires and think and grow rich is number one, be specific. Okay. What are you going to give in return?
mhm.
Number three, time bound and specific date. Next, create a definite plan and start right away. Write an A to D into a statement. I don't know what that means, Roger, if
You
you can
mean
help.
write those first four into a statement.
Okay, so read
Hush
this
it.
statement 2 times daily, morning before bed. Can I have a breakthrough thought here, real quick? Okay. How many times when we work on our own goals or we are working with our clients who are buying, selling, and investing, we have to be extremely specific on what is the reason they're doing it.
Yeah.
Number
Oh,
one,
yeah.
what is the reason you're wanting to invest? What is the reason you're wanting to buy? What is the reason you're wanting to sell? Very specific.
Yeah.
Number two, what are you giving in return? If you're a seller, what are you willing to do to prepare the property to go on the market? And if you're a buyer, what are the action steps you're willing to do to get ready to start investing?
Mhm.
Time bound and specific date. When are you wanting to be on the market? By when you need to finish your purchase?
Yeah.
Create a definite plan and start right away. Having a consultation with us, we come up with a strategic plan on exactly what our first step is. Second step is that we start knocking those things out. And then now this is ENF step, fifth and sixth. Fifth and sixth is something that people don't get to see that we as a business do in the back end. We write this out for each of our clients. Like anybody who's working with us, we know on back of our hand what their ideal outcome is very clearly. And we revisit with them all the time on weekly basis when they're going through this selling and buying process. And Bree, we might not read it twice daily, but every day we visit our client needs. Can you see how our business is built because of our nature of who we have been trained to be? We are translating that into our business. So Bree, what is your experience like? do you see this in your work day to day? And how do you think it creates an outcome when it's there? And what is the outcome when it's not there?
Yeah, we definitely do it in the business every day. Whenever it's there, things happen to go more smoothly because we're able to truly understand what is important to that person. It is forefront in our mind because we have everything written down and we are looking at, every time we reach out to them, we're like looking at our notes and saying, this is why they're making the move. This is what is important to them. These are the steps that we're going through. When we don't have an action plan and we don't know why, it's just like you're driving. If you
Yeah.
don't know where you're going or why you're going there, you're just in the car and what are you going to do? You're just going to stop and do nothing. But when you know, okay, I need to go to the grocery store, right? And you have a map that shows you how to get to the grocery store, you're going to know exactly where to go. This is the exact same thing whenever we're working with buyers and sellers and investors. And one thing on here that I don't think we got to touch base on, well, two things. Number
Yeah.
one, this says like reading the statement two times, and then there was another thing that was talking about reading it. A lot of things that talk about thinking things and then talking them out loud. This is one thing that Think and Grow Rich does. It's also a biblical practice that there is power in our thoughts and there is power in our tongue. So what we think and what we say have a lot more weight than we give it credit for.
Oh, definitely,
Wow.
100%.
And also talking about, you were talking about like how we're here, right? Like be present and be, just accept where you currently are. There was also a thing that talks about like being here is holy. So wherever you are at right now, this is where you're supposed to be in this moment. You can obviously take steps forward to get to another spot, of course, but to appreciate where you're at in this moment is going to kind of release any like negative expectations, right? Because when you can just accept where you're at rather than expecting you should be somewhere else, you're going to be a lot more fulfilled and a lot more peaceful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, certainly. Thank you for sharing that. That's valuable, very valuable. So I know today's episode was very novel. We normally go into real estate, we talk about market and everything. But a lot of our people have shown a lot of interest in getting to know us, who we really are behind the scenes. So, what we stand for, what is our company built on, and what are the values we carry on, bring to the relationships that we develop with you all. So,
So,
I,
Rosie, I just wanted to add something real quick.
yeah,
And that is that if there's somebody out there who's thinking about investing, how can they use the principles of Think and Grow Rich to acquire more real estate?
yeah,
Or how can they become more wealthier and add some of those properties to their portfolio?
yeah.
And I think a great way or a place for someone to start is first to spend a little time dreaming about your ideal outcome, because Think and Grow Rich talks about all of these great people and how they're all dreamers, right? So if we look at Martin Luther King, he had a dream, and I don't think that's any coincidence. And we look at Thomas Edison and the light bulb, and how can you go through 10,000 attempts of lighting up a bulb if there's not a real passion behind it? So, or a definite chief aim. And so create a definite chief aim, create a burning desire to own more real estate. And then also, there's something that I think everybody should utilize, especially if you're in a relationship with us, is the mastermind principle. And that is reaching out and having conversations with like-minded people. And this is an invitation to other agents. If you're an agent in another market, another state, whatever, or even if you're here in Austin and you're curious about how to drive more investments to your clients, or I think as long as we have that conversation and we make it make it a collaborative effort, it's going to benefit everybody, because something might unlock your.
And on that note, I'm going to invite our friends and listeners to come see us. Like tomorrow,
Yeah,
we're going to meet for a coffee social at
and do
Pineview
coffee.
Coffee Social House on 183 area, Research Boulevard. Pineview Coffee House. I don't know
Now,
what.
Rosie, does somebody have to buy a real estate from you if they show up to the coffee, or
No, you don't have to do anything. If
ads
you're
or anything?
someone who's looking to grow, become better, and is looking for a positive mindset, and is looking for like-minded people to collaborate with and take those thinking to the next level, we're your people. So come see us, say hello to us. We'll buy you coffee, and that would be, something we get to be hospitable with.
Yeah,
And
Michael, Susan, you guys come on out too. I know y'all are in the comments today.
yeah. And
Um,
if you can't, no worries. We will do it again. And this is something that, people have reached out to us. So many coffee dates, and to take a time away from work and drive halfway town to have a coffee was not becoming conducive, quite frankly. So to protect our time and to make ourselves more available to other people, we have taken upon this endeavor. So feel free to show up tomorrow, have a coffee with us, and let's.
and we love each and every one of you. So if you think if you're thinking to yourself, should I go? Definitely come. And if you're thinking
9:30
about
to
us, we're probably
11:30.
thinking about you, huh?
Yes. Michael's asking what time, 9:30 to 11:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
9:30 to 11:30. Come hang out. Let's have great conversation and invite more people. We do enough of Zooms. It would be nice to hug a real human being and have a little laugh out of it. So, well, guys, I have nothing else to add. Today we delivered
Well, I'll just
45.
say this. I'll say this. Look, the conversation is not over because and we're going to continue this. That's not what Rosie. What I'm trying to say is the Think and Grow Rich conversation is really dense, and there's a lot to share, guys. And so we will be having another episode at sometime in the future where we'll talk about other more advanced ideas about Think and Grow Rich and how
Yeah.
it applies to increasing your wealth and living the life that you have designed or in your mind, right? So, um,
And if you guys are interested in finding out the assignment that we personally do as a business on week to week basis, we will be happy to share that PDF with you. We have a full 52-week plan that we personally follow, that Roger and I look at. Every week we pay attention to it, and we do this exercise once a year. This has transformed and kept us at a positive mindset so that we don't drag ourselves down with all the negativity that's in the world. So if you're interested,
if
we
you're
can
not a
dedicate
part, that's a great question. So that's a great thing you brought up. How do you get on the email list? Is you go to rivetre.com and you go register there. As soon as you register there, now you become a part of our email list. And this recording, along with the PDF, will go out to you. And it's a huge value add. Every week we share statistics or insights about the market. And weeks like this, we share Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, and other powerful learnings that we have had from our mentors, books, and if you think something has influenced you in your life, we would love to hear about that. That would be awesome.
Oh, okay. We got Christy Evans thanking us for the show. Thank you, Rosie Hayer and Roger Singh Hayer. This is a word in
Steve.
season. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Perfect. Well, guys, I love y'all. Thank you so much. And thanks for playing along with all the shenanigans Roger and I have. And thanks for
Mhm.
Bree. I asked her today, I said, why do you laugh on the same things that we have been doing for 10 years? I said, you still get the kick out of it?
I'll tell you what, if for anyone that doesn't know Brittany, I am the most grateful person. I mean, my eyes could just well up right now just thinking about it. She's the most beautiful human being. And even now, look, she's laughing. And we joke about it sometimes that we could never take her to a funeral because there's going to be laughing going on and somebody's going to wonder where the heck it's coming from. And sure enough, it's going to be her.
Roger, you just said you're the most grateful person.
To having her in my life because
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing. Okay, I didn't get the joke. I mean, hey, Jagdish Sandhu, thanks everyone. Good to hear positive thoughts. I'm also reading books and becoming aware of unconscious thoughts that is helping move in right direction. We love you so much.
I love that. Thanks, Jaggy. And guess what? You can
Come
thank
for
me later.
coffee. Come for coffee. Pine View Coffee. We want to see
Yeah,
you.
let's have fun. Some big
Yeah,
thoughts, big conversations, and let's set a new trend of a conversation that is not normally defaulted to in communities. So let's be the trendsetters of big thinking. So we maybe pave a path for our children so
yeah.
they find it normal to have a conversation at this level. So thank you. And he wants to
So
know when. Every Friday, 9:30 to 11:30. Pine View Coffee House off of
Every
180.
Friday, it's a reason for us to get together and celebrate with our friends.
Yep, yep, yep. Awesome. Well, this is it, guys. 49 minutes and 42 seconds of value. And Roger, I hope I have an agreement by next week on your next week's topics.
I doubt it.
I think I'm over it. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much. Have fun.
Love you
Next week,
guys.
more real estate, more news, and more great thoughts coming y'all's way.
All
Bye-bye.
right, cool.
Bye.